Hello and welcome along to part 5 of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. We're back today to face TNS, the professional side at the top of the Welsh game, and it's a cup semi-final as well, with a chance at silverware just 2 games away. We've also got an awful lot of transfer news to talk about and some disasters, as you've probably guessed from the title. A lot of star players heading on their way out, financial trouble as you can see on the right of the screen, but a few signings that are just giving us a glimmer of hope as we try to prepare Bangor for next season. You can see the league tables looking good now after an early start where we struggled and a few teams hung on our coattails. The strength of our squad is really shining, and the professional outfit Bangor City are going to be in the Premier League next year. So if you're looking forward to all of that big game in the Cup semi-final and all the transfer news as the January window opens, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. This one and the head coach rotating every day at 3:30 for the next week. So please do turn that notification bell on. You'll get alerts as every episode releases and every time we go live. So I think the first thing we've got to do, before we get into the game or any of the other stuff today, we've got obviously the transfer news too, is go and look at our youth intake preview. Something that we were quite excited about, and now I'm a little bit more excited. So if we look at the youth candidates, let's look most importantly at this 5th green plus comment here. This is a terrific group of players coming through and has the potential to be a real golden generation for the club. That is the news we wanted to hear. Unfortunately, it's coming from Andrew Bell, whose judgment of potential and ability is 4 out of 20. But I hold hope nonetheless, and we'll see if they're any good. We've got good characters in the squad, we've got good players in the squad, so if we need to do mentoring, if we need to get training on board, we're a professional club, we can manage that. What I am worried about is if his judgment is accurate whatsoever. But potentially a positive to start on. Now, let's go and move to the negatives. We had a really weird situation when we got to sort of late October, early November. We were looking as we would at any non-league, lower league or clubs from another UK nation such as Bangor here to try and extend some of the contracts of star players. And we weren't able to offer beyond 6 months. So even though we'd got the notification to say people were in the last 6 months of their deal, we couldn't offer them a contract beyond this season. And as a result, although that's now changed now, we lost out on a few of our stars beforehand. And probably most importantly, we've lost out on our biggest one, which is the Brazilian magician, Melo. He's going off on the 1st of July. I'm not sure who he's joining, a 3rd tier side in his native land, Brazil. And unfortunately, he's going to be gone. 7 goals and 10 assists in 17 league games. And he won't be here after this season. So we're going to go up to the top tier and lose our main creative spark. We have got a few others that we're trying to sell. The likes of Barafaldi, who's just had a long injury layoff. Destafanis as well. We lost Ignacio Torres via the same method as Melo. We couldn't offer a deal in time. And Dida's going to be on his way out as well, partly because of people coming in. So let's look at the transfer history more generally, because we have had a lot of action. None going out just yet, but that will change in the future as we know. We have, though, had 3 coming in. So the first one was caused by the Barafaldi injury. We had to get a goalkeeper in. And the first one highlighted by our scouts that came in on trial was Stuart Moore. Now, I know this guy quite well. He sort of cost Luton a promotion a few years back in real life. He came in right near the end of the season, him and Matt Macey, the Arsenal keeper. Matt Macey got recalled by Arsenal before the playoff semi-final. This guy came in and made howler after howler as we lost to Blackpool on aggregate. But he is a very good rated keeper. He's had a bit of recovery in his career, but unfortunately he rejected us for Cork City. I can't begrudge him that, because at the moment the Irish League is above the Welsh League in reputation. So because of that, we ended up with the second choice on the scout reports. And he turned out to be a better goalkeeper, so it's all worked out. Gregor Zabret, who you may remember from being a backup at Swansea City, he was their 3rd choice keeper for quite a while. He's come in now, the 25-year-old Slovenian, 4.5 star ability and the same potential. He's an excellent keeper, prefers to punch, which I'm not a massive fan of, but otherwise he's very good. He's kept 3 clean sheets, he's yet to concede a goal for the club. The only thing that he did put in his contract, which slightly concerns me, is that he's got a minimum fee release for a higher division club. So if before the end of the season, TNS come in with 3.5 grand, we will lose him. But I'm hoping by the time we're in the top tier, that'll be irrelevant. And that should just be a few months away. We then, just a few days ago, in preparation for January, brought in Ben Eriksson, who came through in a scout report. 3.5 star ability, 4 star potential, and he's got that extra grade out star as well. Only £140 a week. So actually saving us money on Torres, who will be leaving, and Destefanis, who's earning more than that and not involved in the squad at all. We're trying to loan out a couple more youngsters as well, but combining his wage output and his ability, it was a no-brainer to get him in. A young Welshman, and he's going to be a superstar. Lastly, the one we knew that was happening. Ben Wells coming in on loan, a pre-agreed deal by the director of football, and he looks a star. So he's going to be a sort of rotation option with Garcia, but just fills out that midfield position where we've been a little bit short at times this season. And he came off the bench in the last game, started to make an impression, and I'm hoping he'll be able to continue that for the rest of the season. Certainly not one that will be here long term. We've extended most of these loans that went out at the start of the year, so I don't think any of them are actually coming back to the club in January. And we've also got a potential in from the director of football. We were looking for a backup target man in our recruitment meeting, because we all know that behind Chris O'Grady, there's not really a natural target man. There's a lot of poachers, a lot of small advanced quick forwards, no real standout target man. And our director of football is looking at this man, a very well-known name in the British game, Marc-Antoine Fortuné. Now 39, now getting on a bit, but for £100 a week, if we could get him in to see out the promotion this year, I'd be very happy, because he looks like an absolute star. He's going to be 40 by the time he leaves the club. But if we get him in, a former Wigan man, of course from our live stream series, but he's played for West Brom, Celtic, massive clubs across the board. And he's going to be a really good addition to the squad, particularly as a squad man, particularly behind the scenes, if we can get him in for the rest of this year. So we'll wait and see if that happens, but I'm really pleased so far. I'm devastated we're losing Melo. It's the one bad bit of news. Everything else is very good though, and we look in good shape. So if we go to the squad at the moment, we've got more good news on the contract front. Most of the ones we're desperate to extend, we've managed to. Obviously, we know Melo's leaving the club. We know that Chris O'Grady's a bit older. We're not sure if we're going to extend it yet. Although 12 league goals in 17 games suggests I probably should keep him around. But if we look at those we've extended, James Boot is staying for another year. Juan Garcia has taken a slight wage cut to stay for an additional season, as has Ben Atkinson. But we've managed to extend the loans of Cook, who had an extension clause in his contract. Ted Malden, who is developing into the best player this club's seen for a long time. He's going to be a superstar. He's 19, he's training full time, and he is improving so quickly in training. He's got the right personality. I feel like he could be a leader for this club for many years to come. Importantly, on the goals front, Fanian is staying for another season. He's got 19 in 16 now, so certainly worth keeping. Tobler's stayed for another year on the same wages, and Owen Moore has agreed to an additional year as well. Where Torres had agreed to leave, I've started to try and prepare for next season in the league. So I moved Molden across to centre half and put Moore in at right back. And it doesn't seem to have weakened us at all. In fact, if anything at the back, we've been stronger. So let's have a look at the schedule to see how that's affected our results. It's been a little bit strange really. We've had some thunderous wins, 1 or 2. We had one really awful day at the office, and otherwise we've been largely consistent and solid. So I don't really know what to make of it overall, but we're miles clear, we're going to get promoted, and we need it financially, so I'm glad it's happening. So after those 2 low scoring games in the last episode, we immediately won 8-1 away at Conwy, who were unbeaten in 5 home games before that. Fanian got a double hat-trick, O'Grady and Mayo got the other goals. Before a 3-1 Welsh Cup win in the second round, Ziccarelli and Isla into the team, and they got the 3 goals between them. A 2-1 defeat at home to Prestatyn, Barafaldi made a howler, Torres made a howler. Neither of those part of the team anymore. And Barafaldi, the top earner by the way, he could be leaving soon, and that would really help us out. Potentially to an English club in the Football League too. Of course, much like Cliftonville in FM20, with the Builder Nation, we've got to think about strengthening the rest of the teams in our country as well. So with Destefanis, for example, we had 3 offers from Welsh teams and 3 from abroad. So we accepted the Welsh ones, he rejected all of them, and now we've had to sell him abroad. But where possible, we'll try and keep them in the country. Against Holyhead, we bounced back with a 2-0 away win, O'Grady and Fanian with 1 apiece, before O'Grady got both of the goals against Ruthin, and then we came up against today's opponents, TNS. And perhaps possibly the most positive sign of the series so far, we beat them 2-1. Now we got absolutely tanked. We were battered. It was almost a role reversal of the Prestatyn game, where we conceded 2 shots, had 16 and lost 2-1. This game, we were outclassed. We looked a threat on the counter though, and we nicked a 2-1 win. And both of the strikers, O'Grady and Fanian, were amongst the goals. So TNS will be looking for revenge today. And I'm starting to think now, with them out of the Welsh Cup, could we even be the favourites? Could we get the Welsh Cup victory, which would probably secure European football, I'm guessing it will be Europa Conference next season, but that would be massive going into the top tier. And a massive moment for the club as well. After all of the points deductions, the relegation, the turmoil off the pitch that we talked about in episode 1, to get back to playing European football within 4 years would be a remarkable achievement. We beat Coimbe, the side that have come back over from England recently, Fanian getting the winner there. A 3-0 win at home to the bottom of the table side, O'Brady with 2 and Isla in scoring a goal. A 4-0 win away at Airbus, Ted Molden, Mayo, O'Grady and Fanian, very familiar with that potent front three. And a 3-0 win at home to Buckley, the front two with a goal apiece and James Cook with a header from a set piece. So we are in brilliant shape. We can almost rest players for these league games now because we know that the cups are our priority. The league title is going to be won. We're 10 points clear of Airbus, who are doing very well but haven't got the same squad as us. We've got a Welsh Cup run to come, but we know that TNS are already out. And if we win this game against the New Saints today, we will surely be favourites for the final. The other two sides, oh wow, what's happened here? It's a side from the south who have got through to the final against a side from the north. We beat Conwy 8-1, this side beat them 5-1, and their best player is quite good to be fair, but they're 14th in the second tier. Why are there no first tier sides in the semi-finals? We obviously beat Newtown, I get that one. Llanelli were beaten by TNS, they're in the south now as well though. So all of the top tier sides got beaten early. I don't know if they were resting players perhaps. Is it just because of this congested season that they're resting more than normal? We'll have to see what side TNS put out today, because in the Welsh Cup they put out a strong one. Not their first 11, but not far away. We've still got the same problem with the signing players based in Italy and Argentina. I have set the leagues to be loaded from next year, but with the way that the UK's leaving the EU in game, I don't think that's going to help, because it's starting to do a point system based on international appearances and wages. And at our standard, we're not going to meet that early doors. So we have to get those clauses out of the culture, and we'll try that if we get a new deal next year. And I hope we will, or this series will be very short. But if we look at the dynamics, everything looks great now. Everything on the pitch is as perfect as it can be. And today against TNS, we've got another big test. Will we be able to make it to a cup final? And can we beat the toughest side in Welsh football twice in a row? Let's go and find out and meet our 11 for today. So from our last league game, it's just one change to the 11. Of course, only 5 substitutes, so we've messed around with the bench a little bit. Boot comes back in after injury. Generally, I'm tempted to bring the likes of Ericsson in. I'd like to bring Ben Wells in, but I'm trying to keep a side in that are match sharp for this. I want it to be as familiar as possible. It's the toughest opponent in Welsh football, and the last thing we want is new bodies, new faces, people who haven't played together before, people who aren't match fit. So we're going to stick as familiar as possible. That means we've got Zabret in goal, we've got Moore at full-back alongside Bolton on the left, Ted Malden continues at centre-half alongside Cook. They're now both ball-playing defenders, as we're trying to get a bit more fluent moving forward. Garcia's in the holding role, Boot and Atkinson in midfield, and Mayo behind Fanian and O'Grady, the potent front two at second-tier level. What can they do against TNS? A strong 5 on the bench, including the 2 new signings. So let's get into this cup semi-final and see if we can shock TNS again. Scott Rusco, in charge of the New Saints, admitted that we beat him in the mind games before the first tie, and that was in the Welsh Cup, the big one. But we could do with the finances of winning competitions, and against TNS actually, I come up against a familiar name. Keston Davis, someone we've interviewed over on the podcast. I had a good half an hour chat with him about his footballing career. I'll put a link to it in the eye above because he's a lovely bloke, but he is going to be our opponent today. He's down on the bench, which is unusual because he was vice-captain last year. But they've got some really good players in their squad. Greg Draper is a good goal scorer. Isaac Davis I saw on the competition screen as one of the best average ratings. Ryan Brobble ended up in the Northern Irish Premiership when we were at Cliftonville in FM20. And Chris Marriott's someone I'm aware of as well. So they're a very good side. They're someone we're going to keep an eye on. And if they can put people like Keston Davis on the bench, they must have a very good squad. He is still their vice-captain, another former Swansea youngster, and look how good he is. He's probably better than any of our centre-halves, and he's on the bench for them. So we're certainly still underdogs for this one. And maybe if we get promoted, I'll be able to bring him in under my management. Certainly be nice to have a familiar face around. But let's go and get into the first half. A minute gone so far, and no real threat at either end. Now we do have a problem. We're 15 minutes in, and at left back, we've got a hamstring injury to Bolton. I don't really want to leave him on the pitch if I can avoid it. What's more worrying for me is I think I've got the left back on the bench. I have. And they're telling me to bring on Ben Wells, who's competent at best at left back. Admittedly, his stats suit that position brilliantly, and he's rated 2.5 star there. But I'm going to go for the actual left back and the man that's been here before. It's a big downgrade to our team. It's a big problem because Bolton has been training brilliantly. But with 20 gone, it's been an even game so far. And it's a corner for TNS. From this left-hand side, in-swinger from Ryan Brobble to the front post. It beats them all. It drops for Smith. Second one saved. Draper hits the woodwork. Brilliant save though from Zabret. Brobble puts the third one over the bar. But that was a worrying sign. We couldn't get the set piece clear. And TNS will feel hard done by to still be level. Well, at half time, I'm not too disappointed with that. It's taken much the same pattern as the last game, aside from the goals of course. But we've been the more defensive side. TNS have had more possession, more shots, better expected goals as a result of the aerial pinball. But we've managed to keep on terms. So I'm going to get the hands together. I'm going to tell the lads to keep it going. A couple are motivated. And if we do that for another 45 minutes, there's no reason we can't nick one. We've always got that threat with Fanian and O'Grady, and here's Moore at right back to Malden. Cuts inside, finds Moore, and he's intercepted by Marriott. Good defending by the fullback. Oh, but he's given it away to Fanian, and now he's in one-on-one. It's a brilliant save by Harrison to tip it wide. Fanian had tried to place it in the corner, to be fair to him, but this time he's stopped by a good goalkeeper. So Brett's got a rating above a 7 now as well, as the ball's clears downfield. But that's our first great chance, and it's been squandered. Just over 20 minutes to go. It's gone very quiet, so I'm going to make a substitution. Joe Healy on for Atkinson, pretty much like for like in centre midfield, as Isaac Davis picks it up on the left. He gets towards the byline, but goes back to Marriott, and now Smith. TNS content to keep it there. Holland comes and shows for him, plays the 1-2, and they've got the man over on the right. He goes back to right back instead. Nice conservative play, and on comes the winger from the Faroe Islands. I've remembered him here for years. He's got pace to burn, that kid. But it's back to the right back. Rashesha crosses in to the front post. Davis hits the bar and Malden hacks it away for a throw-in. We're living dangerously here, but so far it's so good. 0-0 is a fantastic score. I'm going to drop to a balanced mentality just for now, and I think I'm going to replace Fanian. He's not had the best game in the world, so Dante Isla will come on. And with 10 minutes to go, it's just the 2 new signings who are left on the bench. And we've got an attacking throw. 1 minute plus stoppage time to go. It's into the box to O'Grady. Down for Mayo. Into Isla. The poacher's there. What a super sub that is. You will never see a better substitution. Isla on, and he scores what should be the winner against TNS. An incredible moment as we do it for the second time. And I'm telling you what this is making me think, and you might well be thinking the same. Can we go up and win the title next year? I'm starting to think it's possible. We haven't got any more subs left, but we are going to go defensive now. So what we're going to do is get on our time wasting. We have to do it at 1-0 against TNS. We'll be more disciplined. We'll do all the usuals. Regroup, hold our shape, slow the pace down. There's no need for us to go and get a second goal. We're not going to press quite as much, and we're going to drop back to a normal position. 4 minutes of stoppage time to go, and we could be about to shock TNS for the second time in a month. 1 minute remaining. Let's go cautious. Can we hold on? We've done it. We've had less shots. We've had less opportunities. And we have been again the inferior side in this match. But we have won. A brilliant 1-0 victory. A brilliant defensive performance. We're in the final and we're against lower league opposition. We're the favourites to pick up the first trophy of the season. Nobody expected that. It just shows the potential this Bangor City side have got. And if TNS can come with us when we get to the top tier, us two could make a real impact. We saw it in FM20. We had TNS in our group with Dorking Wanderers when we were in the Europa Conference and they were in the group stages. If they can do that and we can progress, this could be a really good situation for Welsh football. It's not just one club going alone like we were with Cliftonville. We want to have someone come with us. So hopefully TNS can improve and hopefully we can continue to improve as we go up to the top tier. But what a fantastic day. The injury to Bolton's only a few days. We got him off early enough to prevent that. And we will be back not long in the future at all. The final is scheduled for 10 days' time. It's our chance to win a first trophy of the season. We already know who our opponents are going to be, and that will definitely be the next episode. And it could be with Marc-Antoine Fortuné in the squad as well. So let's go and have a look at the schedule. We should be back in 10 days' time, and if we are, we'll then leave it a while afterwards. But I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought about the performance against TNS. Should we be concerned about how weak they were? Should we accept that they were just resting some players? Because Keston Davis has started nearly every league game. So the fact he didn't play that one suggests maybe they were taking us just a bit lightly. And if we got to the top tier, maybe they wouldn't. They're still bringing in players. I'm hoping they'll do the same in January. And maybe us and TNS can go all the way and improve through the ranks together, particularly once we get to European football. But if you haven't already, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. You'll get alerts every time we go live, which will be every weekday from tomorrow at 5:30 with Wigan Athletic. And our 2 long-term stories will rotate on the channel. A new video every day at 3:30. The head coach back tomorrow. And then our first cup final with Bangor on Wednesday afternoon. I hope you're looking forward to that. I hope you'll come and join me. As I mentioned earlier on, I am part of a podcast. And you can see the interview with Keston Davis in the eye above. But a big thanks for watching this one, your continued support with the series as always, and I'll see you next time for our first chance at a trophy with Bangor City.